Good afternoon and welcome to the summer session of English 201 Themes in Literature. This class is a survey, broad look at various literary genres and types of literary works. I'm excited to be able to lead you through an assortment of texts, all very different, but each having an interesting connective to the other. Part of what I'm going to do in this video lecture is go over the syllabus and hopefully give you some explanatory words about what the syllabus says, highlighting a few things and then skipping over others that I think are pretty self-explanatory. At any point in the class, if you need to have further elucidation, if you have questions that rise up, please contact me. Same thing goes for this syllabus, same thing goes for this e-lecture. If there's something that I skip over on this syllabus that you're dying to know more about, you definitely send me an email, shoot me a phone call. On the website on Blackboard is my email as well as my cell phone, so I am reachable. So the purpose statement is this. It says, the course is an introduction to various literary themes and critical approaches. Hopefully, after you take this class, I will be able to give you some tools that you can use to take into the reading of any book or any work of literature that you pick up. My hope is that, as a professor, my hope is always to help guide readers into more thoughtful engagement of texts. You're constantly being bombarded by texts, and text itself, be it through the news media, be it through magazines, newspapers, online journals, and blogs. What do you do with that? Do you take everything as it comes? Do you accept things as they're stated, or are you analyzing critically? I know we all analyze to some degree, but there are actual tools. There are great tools to employ in the analyzing of a text. And hopefully we'll be able to talk about some of those this semester, and hopefully you'll leave the semester with some new insight and new ways to tackle text. The rest of that statement goes on. Students will be asked to read and write thoughtfully about a variety of literary works. The reading process, I believe, must always accompany writing. You can read something and a few hours later forget what you've read. But if you read something and then write about what you've read, be it a summary, as simple as a summary. Summaries are often pretty simplistic, but even if a summary is written, let alone something more critical, a critical engagement, a thesis. If you've created a thesis and a process, if you've read something that you disagree with strongly, and you write out a page even of why you disagree with what has been written by this author, chances are you're going to remember that statement. You're going to remember what you've read, and you will have engaged with it on a deeper level than just having read it. So everything that you read in this class will be accompanied by some writing. You'll have to write about what you're reading, and that is for the purpose of remembering and more fully investing in that piece of literature. The next thing on your syllabus there is the course objectives. I'm going to let you read over that yourselves, as well as my statement about plagiarism. Plagiarism undermines the entire academic industry. Your pursuits as a learner are undermined through plagiarism, so I encourage you to avoid that in any form. The disclaimer, in case I need to change the syllabus, I don't usually do that, but if something comes up, I may need to do that. So let's move on to page 2, course requirements and major assessments, the writing assignments. One major paper. This is a point in the text or a point in the class that my students get most anxious about, is the large paper. You're doing a lot of writing in this class, and so the final paper is only 6 pages in length. So in my opinion, that's relatively short. You'll create your own thesis and support it with strong textual examples. I've got a couple how-tos on your Blackboard site that I've put together with the help of some friends online, be it through the Purdue Writing Center or Missouri State has a great writing center as well. I've borrowed from both of them to create a couple of how-tos, how to write a great paper. Inside that article, it's a great one. Please check that out, read that carefully. You'll see how to write a great thesis, how to write a great thesis statement. A thesis statement is an arguable assertion, a statement of opinion about a piece of literature. And so as you read through that, you'll hopefully discover some key elements that make a great thesis page or a thesis. As always, as it says here, I'm always happy to review thesis ideas for that paper, and there's further details. 10 thesis pages. Now, these are your weekly assignment. Well, almost weekly. This is an assignment that goes with every book you read, every book and every short story and every play. We read a couple plays, a few novels, and a few short stories in this class. For all of those works, you'll write a thesis page. That's a one-page assignment, double space. At the end of that page, you stop. You can put ... if you want. You don't have to even do that if you don't, but just stop after one page. It's basically 250 words. That begins, this essay begins with a thesis statement. You begin to develop it, and then you stop. Now, why? Why in the world would I want you to stop? Why wouldn't I want you to continue on with that thesis? Well, there's a few reasons, but one of the keys is this. I'm not looking for a long paper. What I want you to do is read and then write. And I want you to be able to do that, within a few hours. You're going to develop a thesis statement about every work that we go over this semester. You'll have created an argument about every novel, every short story, and every play that we read this semester. Now, what that does is it gets you thinking critically about every work. Come to the end of the semester, you have 10 to 12 thesis statements, all prepared. And when you get to your final paper, you can pick one of those thesis statements if you like, and you can write about that for a 6-page paper. I like the idea of my students developing arguments about every work that they read, and that's what a thesis statement is about. 6 article reviews. For each of the works you're going to read this semester, I have an article or a journal article that I've put on Blackboard for you. Read those articles, and you're going to write an article review. Part of being learning to be a critical thinker is, again, writing and critically thinking through what you've read. Do you agree with what is written in that article about The Tempest or about Harry Potter or about fantasy literature? Why or why not? And I have other guidelines about how to write an article review in your how-to section or your how-to folder in Blackboard. So you write 6 article reviews. The Foster summaries. Foster writes an interesting book, Thomas Foster, How to Read Literature Like a Professor. That's a funny title, but he actually covers some great stuff in there. He has an informal style that I like. I feel like it's approachable for students like you all. So you'll write a summary of each of the chapters that I assign from that book. A summary basically including major details, key points, and terms. You'll submit all the papers, all the writing assignments to SafeAssign. And SafeAssign is a plagiarism site basically that just keeps students accountable to doing their own work. And the SafeAssign folders and links will be on Blackboard for you as well. There'll be 8 quizzes, 8 reading quizzes. You'll be given a reading quiz for every section of reading, and those will be online as well. So there are 10 question multiple choice quizzes. They're all on reading comprehension. The next section you see there is the grade breakdown, where the points are. I'll let you read over that yourself, as well as the major texts. So we start with Shakespeare's Tempest. This is an awesome book, or a play, I should say. Prospero is our protagonist there, and he's a conflicted man, and I imagine you'll be conflicted about him. I am, and I've read this play dozens of times. I don't know what to make of him, to be honest with you. Some days I like him, some days I hate him. Some days I think he's oppressive. Some days I think he's like sacrificial Christ figure. I think Shakespeare puts a lot into his character that is fascinating. So he's a complex individual, like the rest of us. Christopher Marlowe's Dr. Faustus. This guy's a wild man as well. He has sold his soul to the devil for all the knowledge in the world. That's a great text. J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. You might get some double takes this summer as you pick that up as a college student. Why are you reading that kid's book? In truth, there is a lot that J.K. Rowling has sewn into that text. A lot of classic tropes and ideas that are very important to read as a student of literature and to be able to identify. And so I'll guide you through that work, and we'll analyze that as a mature audience would. Edgar Rice Burroughs' Tarzan of the Apes. This is a great text. Has a lot to say about colonialism and what it means to be of a certain race or not to be of that race. Has a lot to say about white, black, Native American. What are these distinctions, and what are the thoughtful ways to go about working our way through those distinctions? Burroughs does an interesting job as he presents Tarzan to us. He also looks at modern woman and modern man, and what has modernization done to us and to our humanity. Nathaniel Hawthorne, in a series of short stories, will walk us through the psyche of early America. What is the early American, and what does the early American have to teach us and show us? Many of these texts that he's written, many of these short stories deal with man's and woman's relationship with God and with each other. What does it mean to live with a Christian character? What does it mean to sell your heart to the devil? Nathaniel Hawthorne asks some great questions, and hopefully we'll be able to wrestle with his work as well. The last three there, Thomas Foster, Purdue Guide, and the 6 articles are also reading materials you'll be looking at this semester. So let's go through the assignment schedule. I think this is pretty clear. I've gone over it several times myself just to make sure I've weeded out any thing that is unclear. But for each week you have a series of assignments. For the first week I have you writing or reading the how to write a good paper, as well as the how to write an article review. Read those things first before you write anything for me, please. That'll save you some heartache, and it will get you on track with the expectations for each writing assignment. You'll read The Tempest in the first week, and then you'll read an article that I wrote, actually, as part of my dissertation many years ago, called Humiliation and Redemption in the Tempest. And I'm looking forward to receiving back the article reviews from you and to see what you think of my work. Don't be shy. And you'll also read some Foster. And because as you work your way down the assignments, each week they are there for you to read and go through. If there's any questions about this, please let me know. On the following page is the mission of Concordia University. Concordia University empowers students for a life of learning, a life of service through integrative participation in the arts and professional studies. And this class is particularly focused on the arts. The very last page involves or includes lecture links. I actually have those in the lecture link folder in Blackboard, so you can find that there. But in case that doesn't work, here's an extra copy of all the links to my video lectures on each work. So I have I have 3 e-lectures on The Tempest, 1 on Dr. Faustus, 2 on Harry Potter, 3 on Tarzan, and 3 on Hawthorne. And hopefully those will be helpful and clear. So again, I wish you well this semester. Please keep the communication lines open. If there are questions or concerns, frustrations, email me, call me. Otherwise, best of luck, and God bless you as you set out on this great literary adventure this summer. Bye now.